Okay, so today's video is all about business hours, communication, confrontation, and boundaries, which I know sounds like a lot. Don't want you to freak out, but I want you to know that this right here is one of the most important parts of being a leader and being a director. Clear and concise communication with your team is going to help you thrive, or it is going to make you struggle. Communication is the key. There should never be a question about what's going on within the team page and what's going on with you versus your team. Now, we can't control the things that Scentsy communicates with us, but we can control the way that we communicate with our team. So that's the first thing that I want you guys to know, is that communication is key. When it comes to business hours and boundaries, this is something that a lot of new directors struggle with, as well as new leaders, because a lot of us get in this business and we are people pleasers. We want to make everybody happy. We want to help everybody be successful that wants to be successful. But at the end of the day, everybody that joins your team is their own business owner, and you have your own business to work. You have your family, your friends, everybody else. You have a life outside of this. So I want you to understand and know that you get to set the expectation for what you will allow and what you will not. This business will 100% consume you if you let it. But you have to set the boundary of working your business first. That means that you should not be doing anything with your team until your personal business is in order. That is why I say that I'm not doing my team page banner. I'm not doing my team page mail outs. I'm not doing coaching calls. I'm not doing any of that stuff until I've taken care of me and my business. And that's okay, because everybody starts out as a certified consultant at the beginning of the month. And that is the expectation that you need to set with your team and with your leaders, but you have to communicate that. My business hours say that they are from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday, but the first and second of the month, I'm email only. Okay. Not everybody's going to respect those business hours, but that's what I put out there. When it comes to your business hours, make an image with it. You can do it in Word Swag. Put it as your email signature. Put it on the descriptions on your team page. Put it at the bottom of every single email that you do, because you need to continue to communicate that with people so that they know what to expect. People are going to communicate with you outside of those business hours. Don't respond. If you're like me, notifications drive me crazy, but anytime you respond, that's a positive reinforcement. Even if you're saying it's outside of my business hours, but no, do not respond until your business hours. Come up with some type of system that helps you remember that you need to respond. But do not respond outside of your business hours, because if you haven't had it yet, you will have people texting you, emailing you, calling you at 2 or 3 in the morning on the last day of the month, trying to figure out why something that was sold out 3 months ago isn't available now. Or somebody's trying to find the perpetual party reward. There is no such thing as a Scentsy emergency. You are not a 24-hour Walgreens. You have business hours, you have a family, you have your own business, you have your mental health to take care of, and you need to stand true in that. And don't feel guilty, even though you probably will. I feel guilty all the time, but you have to realize that you cannot respond to that kind of thing. Also, with communication, I do not respond to team member questions through Facebook Messenger. I tell my team that over and over and over again, because I save Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and all that stuff for new customers, relationships that I'm building with other Scentsy consultants, like other Scentsy leaders. I don't do it. And I'm literally going to read it and not respond, because I say it in my videos over and over. It's in my email signature. I'm not responding to it because I'm not going to give any positive reinforcement. If you have a question, you have my email, you have my phone number, you have our team pages. So that's just me. That's how I like to work my business, because I need to have some sort of system for keeping those types of communications separate. Okay. They can't say they don't have your email. Your email's on your workstation if you're their director. In your email signature, have your email, have your phone number, have the way that you want to be communicated with. If Facebook Messenger is the way that you like to do it, then do it that way. But you have the opportunity to decide what that looks like, and only you. So make that decision and stand with it. Know that you can absolutely change it as your business changes, but make sure that the communication is clear. Something else is the 24-hour rule. This comes down to business hours and boundaries as well. If somebody is texting you a question or emailing you a question that you know that they could find very easily by going and looking at the news tab, by looking at the training center, by typing something in on the team page, don't respond. Unless they're a brand new consultants that I'm personally training, that's a little different. But there will be people that ask you how to get the perpetual party reward when they've been with Scentsy for 3 months. I don't respond, and I wait 24 hours. After that 24 hours, I'll say, did you find what you were looking for? 9 times out of 10, they figured out what they were looking for. They found the answer, and it doesn't matter. We live in this world where Amazon Prime and Google is right there, and people will try and treat you like Google. A lot of times it'll only take maybe an hour, maybe even 5 minutes. Somebody will be like, never mind, I found it, because you're easy and you're easier to access than sometimes the workstation might be. Don't feel the need to respond right away, or you're never going to be able to work your personal business. So when you ask them, did you find what you were looking for? If they say yes, great. If they say no, do not tell them the answer. Don't do it. Tell them how to find the answer, or tell them what to search to find the answer, because they're going to remember that a whole lot more than you just telling them the answer. Okay. Or you can even respond, why don't you ask that on the team page? See if somebody can help you. On that note, if somebody does text you a question and you're having a hard time enacting the 24-hour rule, or it's a question that maybe something has came up recently and you feel like numerous people might need to know the answer to that, it's not bitchy for you to say, hey, why don't you ask that on the team page? I know other people probably need the answer to that. So ask that on the team page, and I'll get back to you there. You can get back to them, or you can wait and see if other leaders ask, but it's not crazy to do that, because a lot of times people that have questions, other team members may have those questions as well. So it's not crazy to ask them to do that. I'm going to say this, create a YouTube channel early. There's no reason to be doing trainings over and over again if you can save them and put them somewhere that people can go back and look for a long time. When it comes to your team, find ways to connect with them. The love language quiz, Enneagram personality test. Just be a good human. Care about the people on your team, because the more that you build the people will build your business. This isn't just about making money and building leaders. This is about being a good human. If you can be a good human and help others achieve their goals, you're going to get everything that you ever dreamed of. If you haven't had somebody yet, when you're dealing with confrontation on your team, you will. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. You will have someone who's impossible to communicate with. You'll have somebody who is calling you ugly names. You'll have somebody that there's nothing that you can say to fix it. What I'm going to say to you about that is, sometimes people just need Jesus. Sometimes people just need a chance to cool off and let it ride. Same thing with you as leaders. If something is heating you up, don't respond in the moment, because you can't take those words back, and you're a business owner, so you have to be professional. So one thing that I always say is have someone, AKA an upline, an accountability partner, read what you want to respond with. I always suggest responding with a text or an email, so you have that evidence. Sleep on it, pray on it, and just know that just because somebody's blowing you up because they're angry or whatever, you have the right to not respond right away. And you have the right to take a minute and decide how it is you want to respond. So remember that. And nobody gets to treat you. There's nobody in this world that gets to treat you like shit, period. And you decide what you're going to put up with. You teach people how to treat you. That is also when it comes to customers and people on your team. When I am doing office tasks, I put my phone on do not disturb, or I leave it completely out of my office, because I cannot get things done if I'm constantly looking at my phone, distracted when people text me things. They're not going to die if you don't respond right away. Put your phone on D&D, get your work done. You'll be 3 times as efficient. It's not crazy. Something else I suggest is to turn off all notifications, all of them, because if not, you're going to be overwhelmed by all of the different pages that you get put on, all of the random things that you could possibly be notified by. Make it a habit of going to your team page, the leaders page, and the directors page to scroll when you have the time, not just aimlessly scrolling, but turn those notifications off. So you're only going to get notified when somebody texts you or somebody tags you in something, and you can go and deal with the notifications when you're ready. Only deal with your email once or twice a day. So don't open your email if you're not ready to deal with it. Meaning, if you open your email and you have new team members joining your team, you need to be ready to send those emails. If you know you don't have time to do that, don't open it right then. Why? Because you're wasting your time. So something that I do is I set 2 specific times a day that I'm going to check email. Once at about 9 in the morning, and again about 8 or 9 at night. As your team grows, you may have to add times in. You may be okay with only 1 time a day, but do not feel like as soon as you get an email, you have to respond. You don't. And this is something that I also wanted to add on to that, is never touch something more than once. Just like what I said with the email, just like what I said with like communicating, relationships, etc. Don't open something if you're not ready to deal with it. The same thing with the notifications. It makes no sense to have all of your notifications on if you're just going to make them all go away, knowing that you have to go back and actually read all of the things that you were notified for. That's why I turn all of mine off. I pin the groups that I want to be able to go back and look for. And if you don't already know how to save posts, you can do the little click on the side where it's like the lines, and you can save posts for you to go back and use later, go back and read later, etc. That's what I do a lot for things that I want to post on my team page. I save it. When I have time to go post on my team page, or when I'm scheduling some posts, I go to my save posts, I go and schedule them, and I delete them as I go. Just remember that the biggest thing that you can do to have a successful business is to set all of the boundaries, have open communication, set those expectations, and don't deal with things over and over and over again without having some type of system. Do not be a slave to your phone and a slave to your notifications. You own your day. Don't let the day run you. All right. I hope this was helpful.